Hello and welcome back, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Squid, and once again, I'm joined by Nero. We are back for map 3, and this is the winners bracket second round match. It's between Tricked and Vexed. They both just won their individual best of ones against Cold Game and B Pro respectively, and they both crushed their opposition. These weren't close games. There were 16-8s, 16-1s, and the second of which really surprised a lot of the team here. People were expecting B Pro to put up a lot more of a fight, in Vexed comparatively less of a fight. So what are we saying about this winners match, Nero?
I've been wondering throughout the entire break actually what to say right here, and Tricked versus Vexed Academy here. I'm gonna say with Tricked actually as the favorite, although I believe that Vexed Academy can take them down. Something mysterious might happen, because what I expect is Esperanto and Define were the top fraggers right here in the matchup against B Pro, right? But I don't expect Define being able to so easily frag against Tricked. And as I said, everybody's going to get finished off so much easier by Tricked because they will be much better structured, I would say, in their defense and stuff like that. So I feel like it's not going to be as easy for Vexed Academy, and they've been just going on with the momentum, with the flow, and Piff was just not doing a lot. He's just been suiciding quite a bit of times out there and not really earning a big advantage for the team. So without Piff up against Tricked, excuse me, it's not going to be so good for Vexed Academy. That's why I would stay with them. But I have that unsettling feeling that something's wrong, and Vexed Academy today are just on fire, and they might be able to actually take Tricked down maybe.
Yeah, obviously if Tricked or Vexed win this match, it's going to be about 3 hours before they play the next game, because the grand final, the best of 3, that's later today, and Tricked versus Vexed, the winner of that will get straight through to that final. They can put their feet up and watch the opponents or battle it out for a space against them, and the winner of that final get through to our final 4, which will be played out on the 16th of August. That's our next day of broadcast. And that's going to be an insane day. We've got Outlaws, Imperial, and who else? So somebody else. WAZD, those guys, yeah, who surprised us yesterday pretty bad. It was a very long day, so I'm still trying to recuperate from that one. But WAZD won it, and against pretty much all odds. They were in maybe the most competitive group, maybe not the highest level group, but surely the most competitive. And they made their way out of that group. They're going to make a final 4, and we'll see how they fare against the likes of higher tier competition, Bulgarian, Counter-Strike at its prime, Outlaws and Imperial.
Yeah, definitely. And it would be crazy. I mean, B Pro not doing too well against Vexed Academy, but just imagine another Bulgarian team doing very well in the last group right here. For now, it seems like they're not going out of this group alive, at least for me.
Yes, surely.
It was very easy for Vexed Academy right there. I don't think that Tricked would do much worse against them, and yeah, that pretty much settles the score. And yeah, after seeing the first matches end like that so easily in the favor of Vexed and quite easily in the favor of Tricked, it definitely tells us that the group is just going to go down to the matchup between these two teams. So this could be the very decider of who gets the first place and who doesn't get anything, unfortunately. And that also is an important thing. Like, if Vexed Academy turn out to not be able to beat Tricked, all that effort that they put up against B Pro out there, all the impressions that they left us here, would be for nothing. So they better give their best shot right here against Tricked. They better win it.
Sure, and yesterday we had something very similar. We had Blue Jays 16 forward in their first game. They didn't put up they didn't put up a fight at all. They then get through to the losers match, and they 16 for their opponents. They absolutely just crushed the opposition and managed to make it through to that consolidation final where they get 16 forward. So sometimes you do get hit and miss teams, and maybe B Pro is just a hit and miss team. Maybe we'll see the best of them in the lower bracket match coming up in an hour's time. But for the time being, we're in the life round. Vexed Academy versus Tricked. And this one is surely going to be a slobber knocker. Slobber knocker glory. It's going to be a big game. and played on Train as well. Obviously, the final could be a repeat of this best of one here, but in a best of 3 format. So Train would likely be one of those matches again. So this can definitely determine a lot, and maybe both of these teams aren't willing to give up a lot of the strats that they're likely going to use later on, when Train will likely be played a second time, or maybe Train will be banned out as a result of this map entirely. This format throws up so many differences like that, and it allows both of these teams to scout out the opponents. In other formats, it might just be round robin and you play your 6 matches over the course of 2 weeks, but ELC, we play all of these matches, all of these group stage matches in one day, and it allows these teams to really hit hard on their opponents. And I feel like this format that we use here is most like a LAN format, where everybody's in the building, you've only got 1 day to play it out, and it enhances the storytelling. So we get that all the time, where we can really hit hard about what happened previously in the day and what's likely going to happen later, and the story builds throughout the day, where in the morning you might not have too much to talk about, but then come 10 o'clock tonight we're very likely going to have tons and tons to discuss based on possibly the matchup we're seeing right now. So an exciting set of events.
I definitely do agree on that, and let's just see how this kicks off in Train. Everybody's ready, and we'll be hopping into it right now. So what do you think? Will it go down to the aim duels right here? Like for Vexed Academy, they had some amazing aim duels up against B-Pro, but they definitely should not be lacking on the tactical side right here, as people are suggesting. Define, studying, tricked for the past days or maybe weeks even, maybe in preparation for this matchup. Pifto opens it up.
Yeah, and straight out onto this A site, but Vexed Academy not letting up on the force. They shooting down their opponents and cutting them down. Kreese and Pike with 1 and 2. There's a 3rd kill. Nesby finishing off the job. Tricked. Oh. That's 3 lost pistols in a row for them.
Yeah, that's actually true. That's quite weird. But then Piff also stepping up quite well aim-wise, and that's what I was talking about. On Mirage against Big Pro, he's not really been a highlight player. He's been there, but he just wasn't doing much. Maybe he was just giving the space for the rest of the team to get some glory. Maybe he just wanted to stay calm through that matchup. Maybe he just was saving his energy for the match against Trick, but for now the beginning is surely nice. But they're facing off against 5 Deagles, and let's take a look at that. Some great headshots might be tossed at us with Trick having these weapons in their hands.
Yeah, straight out onto this B site, but Define, he's holding strong, not taking any damage early on. Pith instead takes a bullet to the chest, but it's only 70 HP. So Trick not doing the damage initially, but this isn't much of an investment. It's Deagles, but no armor. But nevertheless, they're finding shots anyway.
Doesn't have to be bad, does it? And well, Piff now trying to trade it back. Very important kill right here on Call, so it would have been, and just got it. But instead, the weapons are on the hands of the enemy team. Now the P90 in close range. Viewer turns around, and Kreese down to 20 HP. The console is still standing out there 100%. He's got the bomb. He's got no Kevlar though, and Kreese now has all this wild choice of weaponry on the ground, but he's still afraid that maybe console will be peeking at him from the L, from the main entrance. Now that's not the case. Console wrapping around into Ivy, and if he just sees Kreese out there, will be round over.
Yeah, Kreese looking the wrong way though in Console. They don't know where each other are playing from. With only 10 seconds left, Console's got to put that bomb down very soon, and he selected the correct position, but Kreese is right behind him, and this is a head glitch angle. Kreese could definitely miss out, but Console, now he drops, takes bullets in the side of the shoulder, and Vexed Academy stay ahead 2-0, and off the back of that quad kill from Kreese. Such a big performance from one of the Vexed stars.
And that's a quad kill, and a lot of people would be criticizing the P90, me included, because usually when I watch these competitive matches, I don't see the P90 working out too well. But finally, somebody has found some good use for it, and Trick will be going down just like this. But it's still nothing to really be worried about. They had a good run in this round with just Eagles, really, and should get their confidence going.
It's all about this double AWP setup now. SB and Kreese both got AWPs, both got armor as well. Kreese doesn't have the Deagle to fall back on, but you see the utility for Vexed Academy after conceding so much damage in the initial 2 rounds. Haven't got many nades to even speak of, and Trick, they've force bought straight back into this one. It's to try to keep the pressure up. They know that they're going to be facing an eco if they win this one, and if they do damage, they can keep the pressure on the Vexed economy and keep them low. On Train, the CD side, it's so important to have $6,000 in your bank, and that's a layup for a very strong CT side. SB missing shots to find 2, and this gives up the B site as Trick charged straight upon this CT side. Vexed Academy taking damage right now.
Yeah, and actually I think that he did connect the shot, but only took like 80 points of health from the enemy player out there, so foot shot, unluckily enough for him now, right? So he was much more prepared to have an AWP in his hands, but he's got to get Galileo and he'll do quite fine with it. And also a missed shot from Graze now. That's going to lead Trick to a victorious round for them with just 1 loss on their side. I guess they got outraged with that quad kill P90 play from round ago, and now they want to take it over completely. The double ops forming up on their side. They're going to hold on to 1 Galil though, and up against pistols it might be fine, but sometimes in these clutch situations I can see even pro players very often failing with the Galil, so you've got to be careful when you have this weapon on your hands. The recoil is just nasty on it.
And Trick, they've kept the pressure up from the very first round, and Vexed Academy don't really have a lot to say about it. They've force bought into this one, and on Train you need every single dollar you can get your hands on to have the AWP, have the rifles. On the Vex side, they've got no rifles right now, so Tricked, they could definitely pick apart this defense and find themselves 3-2 up. And maybe Vex feeling very confident after their previous win, but Tricked is a completely different beast. They are very well equipped to take down higher tier opposition. They obviously play in a high level of ESEA as well, so they're constantly playing in this tier 3, tier 2 opposition. And Vexed, it's not the same beast as playing a team like B-Pro.
No, console. That's some close range fights out there, and with the CZ75, he could be definitely favored on that one. Define, though, has a 5-7 on his hands, and that's a good flank kill, but only a single one. There definitely was a chance to find some more. Pipped up close with the Deegan. He's going to get killed off before he lands another shot. They are getting close to many of these situations. Unfortunately, though, Vexed are not able to come out on top of all of them. And a refresh has heard pick. That's an easy kill. Should have been an easy kill. Instead, he straight it down, but Ryso's on the post, and only SP remains. And just as I said, for Vexed Academy, it's just going to be so much harder to get these easy kills that they got against B-Pro when they're facing Tricked off. And that's what we're starting to see.
SB with a P250 as well. He's got the armor, but the name of the game is just to do damage here. Tricked, exposing any of these rifles to him could be very costly. He's only got $1,300 in his pocket, but there's an AWP god looking for a rifle as well, but Lucky's going to eliminate him, and this bomb's going to explode. Boom.
2-2. Now, it's tough to really call it. I would love to see Vexed Academy face off against Tricked on a straight 4-buy with both the teams really holding onto the rifles right there. No AWPs anymore for Tricked Esports, though. And they're facing off against a pure eco this time around, so there should be no complications at all. There's Fresh with the first one. He hears another guy, sees another guy around the corner, but that will be taken down by Lucky. And 5-on-3 already with the bomb planted with nobody up close. SP and Vic, if they really want to break through to bomb site from these positions, it's going to be a big challenge. SP's going to get only a single headshot that we didn't unfortunately get to see, but Ryso successfully cleans them all up. 3-2, and the Danish team starting to lead the charge for now, and they are kicking it off on the T side. You've got to keep it in mind.
Yeah, we've got to keep in mind as well that Vexed's successes against B-Pro were also on their T side, so we've also got that to come. But Train and Mirage are two completely different maps. Mirage has a lot more playability on their T side, however, Train doesn't have those same advantages. Very closed choke points, two sites, fairly hard to penetrate without nades, and Tricked could definitely abuse this Vex side as they try and get into either of these bomb sites just with a couple of crossfires. And on Overpass, just an hour ago, that's what we saw Trick do so effectively against Cold. They assume those crossfires, were in a perfect position to grind the T-pushes down. So Trick have shown us a very strong CT side earlier today. Vexed has shown us a very good T side. So it's the mismatch of those two halves that is going to show who's going to come out on top of this matchup.
Oh yeah, surely that is a good point, but for now, seems like a bomb side B push is being prepared, taking care of that pop dog too, so not let anybody come in from behind. And that's been a little bit of an issue, I would say, for Tricked Esports. Not even just a single time Vexed Academy tried to come in from the flank, from behind. In the final alone, bomb side B, as I said, he's not able to really take these challenges, get these kills. Good molly, bombs already planted, time's running out. There's nobody just yet even close to this bomb side. Big gonna get killed off by Refresh, and Grains with a little bit of pre-fire gives himself completely away, but he's gonna be successful in that one. Finally some kill going through for Vexed Academy, but in my eyes is just way too late. Even Bith realizes that and decides to just fall back as he knows that somebody might be closing in from behind, might be trying to backstab him.
Yeah, and keeping this Phalanx alive doesn't have as much benefit as keeping an AWP or keeping an M4, but it still is a rifle to work with in this 7th and upcoming round. Tricked, eagerly wanting to take this rifle out of his hands. It's every little helps as far as they're concerned. They've got so much money to start rolling with this, and this is when the T-side gets really dangerous, when they've got this much money to play with. Vex cannot force an eco by winning 1 or even 2 rounds. It's going to be 3 straight buy rounds, and that means Tricked is going to keep the aggression and the pace up. Vexed probably going to find it really difficult to get back in this game now with such an economical disadvantage.
Pissed. I don't know, if someone is to get some good job done with this, FAMAS is definitely pissed, so let's keep an eye on him in this round and define not necessarily the greatest position, I think, for him to be in, but if he gets just a tiny bit lucky and connects the headshots with that P250, it will be a good kill for him right away. But that's a big gamble.
Yeah, and it's all down to Vex to try and force their way back into this game, and it has to be with some of the star players showing up. Define getting caught on the ladder, the Ins just annihilating him there. The 1-2 combo, the Molotov, the spray down, both a deadly combination, and Define meets his maker.
So that's gonna slim it all down to a 5-on-4 in favor of Tricked, with still nothing really to play with on Vexed Academy's side. No grenades, most importantly, so the fact that Piff does have this defuse kit isn't really going to make a difference because they've got no smoke to follow it up or a flashbang, or maybe if it comes down to a clutch situation 1v1 it could, but it's just hard to imagine that it will. SB and Fake, they would be the ones who will have to pick up at least a single kill each if this round is still to matter to Vexed Academy.
Yeah, and here come the smokes, and Tricked has this bomb site and absolute lockdown. Vex, this was obviously just a quasi-buy, so damage and possibly a win was on the cards. However, Tricked, they've circumnavigated the defense and straight onto A. No real damage done, and Tricked haven't taken a point of damage on any of their players, so Vex not doing the damage that they were really prescribed. They needed to do something with these pistols, with this armor investment, but just keeping it alive means that it's not 6,000 wasted, it's 6,000 saved into this next round. And obviously Kreese, he's going to be able to buy up this AWP. He saved for it, 7 kills, so he's not one of the players who have been completely bummed out of this game. He has actually had some impact. Kreese and SB is a double up setup once again. We saw it from Vexed earlier when they won those initial 2 rounds. They got the double up setup round 1. But as we were talking about on Mirage, this is high risk, high reward. It's a $12,000 investment. However, if they if it works out on train, it's one of the most effective maps to use a double AWP. And if SB and Kreese can hit the shots, then perfect. But previously in that round 3, they didn't. They lost the AWPs early, and Tricked found a way past them, straight onto the bomb site and did the damage.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're saying right here. High risk, high reward. I feel like I've heard that already. I mean, on Mirage, it has been what could have saved B Pro or what could have broken them completely and broken. Yeah, but so yeah, that's the thing. I'm gonna give it a shot for Vexed Academy, but if it fails again, then there's pretty much not much they can do up against Tricked Esports, and they will start becoming to look like B Pro against Vexed Academy.
Are they going to check quick? Have a look at this. Quick. Oh no, he peeks just at the wrong time. Lucky finds him. And this breaks up the Vex defense. On train, it's so crucial that you have 5 players spread across the whole map, maybe 1 or 2 on B, and then 3 or 4 on the A site. Right now, Vex don't have that. They've only got 2 on A. And with 2 players over towards Ivy, this is definitely going to be an A push. Here come the nades. Vex Academy going to have a real job here to keep this Tricked side out. And they're actually not pushing initially off the back of this, so Vexed, they've kept 2 players on B, and Tricked, as these smokes dissipate, going to make their way into the site, but with only 20 seconds left, it's SP with the double, Kalat, Pike as well. Vexed, are they really going to hold on here? Not possible. 3 kills for SP now, as he finds the final one with the AWP. Is he actually going to land this shot? TM throws in a final nade, a parting nade, but with only 3 seconds left, nothing he can do. A godlike triple kill from SB keeps Vexed alive. They had no say in this round. Only 2 players on the A site. That's not enough. But they're still pulling through. And they keep the double up set up. So Vexed, wow, they're holding on.
This is just crazy. But unluckily, you know, SB had to die to this nade. That's quite anticlimactic. But well, Vexed Academy do get this one round for themselves. Seems like indeed the AWPs are the way to fix all the evil in the world for the CTs right now. But Tricked are not giving up yet. They still have quite a big amount of money summed up right there. And they can go for another full buy, and this is all that matters for them pretty much.
And Vex have almost no money, remember. If they lose this round, they're going to be back to ecoing. It's going to be that horror that they just faced in the previous few rounds, where it's constant pistols, constant Tricked keeping the pressure up. And if Tricked actually go for this A play once again, this is definitely going to be an A play. The 2 players over towards Ivy is a telltale sign that A is on the cards for this Trick side. So here come the smokes, the plays as well. The bomb is very close into Pop Dog and Vex. They've got no map control to stop this push happening.
Go Vex has some good angle for himself actually, peeks at the right moment where the man that was supposed to cover his teammate didn't really look there, and then now kills traded back and forth, but still Tricked are taking it completely over with Kreese left all alone with no quad kill or anything along these lines this time from SB. Not even a single frag for him. It's not going to be so easy to win. Console with some amazing position already. Even if Kreese picks everybody else off, it's just going to be too hard to take the guy down from heaven.
And Kreese, no way that he's going to get back onto this bomb site. Saving is his only option in Tricked. Yep. Looks like they are going to actually let him. I would expect them to hunt a little more aggressively instead of playing this super passive game where they're just trying to keep their rifles alive. I'd expect this since they've got tons of money on their side. They know that Kreese is going to have the AWP. They know that Vex love this double up setup. Kreese position's finally been compromised, but Tricked, yeah, they're not going for this one. They don't want to lose anything else. They just want to keep the pressure up in terms of their economy being high and their opponent's economy being low. It's that risk versus reward of do we push? And Vex have to go for one last hurrah play. This half is going to be in shambles, in tatters if they lose this one. If they win it, though, they'll be right back in this game. But Tricked looks like they're going to change up the pace straight into B.
Please. Oh, not a bad shot, definitely. Stopping the enemy's push completely, I would not say so. Had he just connected this shot, had just gotten that double kill, would have been great. But for now, bomb site is taken over, though. Finally, somebody's going to start planting the bomb. That's refresh. And then one more guy in the console's not going to get hit. That's quite tough. Raze though getting the shot, but RAZER once again replies at the very right moment. He's also a powerful AWP. You've got to keep that in mind. RAZER, but RAZER versus Craze out there, and the upper lower is going to be Pit versus Lucky. Actually winning all these fights that he gets.
Oh, what a touchdown nade though. TMNT with the Kobe.
And they kill it all actually though. SP killed off with the nade after that double collateral and additional kill out there as he was supposed to finish off the round. Right now Craze getting into a tight situation, but it just killed before he's able to do anything really. But Lucky once again, it's not for no reason that he was the top fragger in the first match of Tricks today, and he's still just looking perfectly good in these all aim duels that he gets.
And this was the hideous situation I said Vex would be in if they lost this previous round. Round 10 was a difference maker for them, and Tricked, they seem to have switched up the focus. It was all about the A site previously, and this time they've been focusing B a hell of a lot, and the bomb's over here as well. With only Define in this site with the P50, he's not going to be able to get anything done. Lucky removes his head and removes the site from Vex property. It's likely going to be 8-3, and Tricked are so far ahead at this point. Nobody's been a threat at all, and they could make their way to our Final Four without even being challenged here today. This is their second match of the day, and both of which have just been Tricked whitewashes.
And this is just a little bit crushing to see, because imagine what would happen if Trick just matched up against P-Pro right now. That would be quite a show. Though on one side of one, Lucky, the kill on Esperanto. Now he's going to continue up and find Kreese too. Thick and Piff are the remaining ones, but it's just pure eco. It's not even worth it to find these weapons. It's not even worth it to just run them down. You're risking dropping an AK or something along these lines. Well, the enemies are not really saving up any value with the pistols anyway. 8-3 in favor of Tricked, and this round pretty much means everything. Vexed Academy, if they don't get 7 out of the CT side on train, I don't think that there's much left for them to do here anymore.
And if they lose this one, they're not even really going to have tons of loss bonus. It'll be 2,900 each above the 0 that they've already got. So they'll have nothing in this 13th round if they lose this one in Tricked. Yeah, not letting up both kills. Quick only trading one in return to finally needs to hit a shot, and he isn't going to do so. You told me that he wasn't going to have this same superstar impact against such a regimented squad such as Tricked, and we're seeing that. He isn't able to get any kills on the board, only the one to his name, which is quite different from the 30 or so he got in the previous map.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about, and I'm very unhappy that I actually was right there, because I expected a lot more from the fight after seeing that first match. But yeah, it just shows it's a team of a different caliber. It's just so much harder to face off against Tricked, who know how to cover each other, who know how to reply, who know how to cut off a man who can sometimes maybe simply frag, and it isn't backed up by anything more. And as Define says himself, it is just a mixed team right here. It's not like it's a consistent lineup for Vexed Academy in here. Their chemistry might not be 100% on point, and as I've been pointing out in a match against B-Pro, he's been in many international mixes. They've got Lithuanians right here. He's been playing with Portuguese back there, and it's just changing a lot. It's hard to really keep it consistent.
Both of those pistols dropping. Vexed in a lot of trouble right now. He might concede double-digit rounds against Tricked without even getting 4 on the board. Pyth trying to do his best with that deagle, but it's only damaging 1 kill. As Console, he's about to mow down the opposition. No! Vic finds 1 more. 3 versus 2, though, and these Molotovs are going to grind up the Vex side. They cannot push through Pop Dog. That would be an absolute bloodbath if they decided. And now Trick know exactly where they're coming from. They know that this flank is on the cards. This has been very well telegraphed to this T side. As this bomb goes down, Tricked are in perfect positions to counter this push. SB and Kvik have to hit some nut shots, and it's only Kvik left. Is he just going to back off in this situation? I think so. Instead, no, walks right into the AWP. Unfortunate that TM can't hit that shot, but Kvik stays alive, keeps that AK possibly into the next round. But it's not going to be worth that much. His teammates will have actually enough money to buy up. So an AK, yeah, that is actually the difference between maybe him having good utility and poor utility. Obviously, $3,400 above what they've already got is going to be plenty of money. And Vexed, it's got to be these last 2 rounds if they want a competitive first half.
You know, but what now, really? 10-5. Is it still possible to make the comeback for Vexed Academy if they go?
It is. We saw how good their T side was on Mirage. They can repeat it on Train if they can keep the pressure up. If they can do exactly what what Tricked did to their economy to Tricked, then they can definitely apply the pressure and make this one at least close. However, right now, Tricked are completely dominating them. And if Tricked CT side is anything alike to what we saw earlier on Overpass, then Vex are going to have a really hard time getting into either of these sites.
Now, well, Esperanto's going to go for a fight in the Ivy while Kreese pushes up the upper and towards B. Console once again up against him, and previously Kreese was the victorious one in this one, but Console's getting better and better with every single try. Esperanto, he's surrounded by enemies pretty much right here. Doesn't necessarily know where to aim. And Refresh, though, when he's left in the corner, he's kind of put in an awkward spot by his teammates because he can't go back from there. He cannot make a move at all. But yeah, one last vital question is remaining. You were talking about Vexed being able to turn around when they go over to the T side. But do you think that Defiant will miraculously start fragging again when they get the T side, really?
I think probably not. I think Tricked are probably going to have that amount of team coordination to not allow the fragging power from Vex to break through. However, it's soon to be seen. The halftime is a really great reset for a team like Vex to this Pug team. A little bit of time to reset your brain, get yourself focused back. Remember, they've just played a best of 1 as well, and that can actually be pretty tiring to play map after map against 2 different teams as well. You have to be in the correct headspace to be able to do that effectively, and maybe now they're just starting to warm back up. TMNT, oh, the boost, perfect. And the AWP picked up as well, but Vexed, it's only 4, so a 5th could be on the cards here, but since Tricked is doing so much damage, Vex aren't going to have a perfect buy. They're not going to have perfect utility, and on Train, grenades are worth so much. Without Molotovs, it's very difficult to keep this Trick side out of your bomb site.
Yeah, but having picked up that AWP will definitely help. Defiant's going to stick with it, actually. He got the finishing frag of the previous round, now kicks off this one. It's definitely good to improve his confidence, and maybe this is the breaking point where he starts fragging. Console, though, replies and fake. Raixo's going to pick off one of the enemies, Orpus, and very low HP on fifth. This is going to help him on that push through the smoke. Freeze shooting the wrong way. That gives Console an easy push through the smoke into a frag, and all alone, Esperanto 1v4. He's once been able to get a triple kill, though quad kill, is it out of his reach?
Oh,
I think so, but there's a good headshot, and right, so just perfectly prepared. So that's going to be 11-4 after the first half. There's still 1 round more grabbed by Vexed Academy just a second ago, where people might have expected that nothing else is really going to happen anymore. I think that it's something. But now they have to win the pistol, they have to continue it up, not giving any economy over to the enemy team. It's just really tough, but Pitt once again just goes for the Tech 9. Previously it was Pitt with the Tech 9, him dying really early on and Quick picking it up and getting a double kill. Is it happening again? I don't know. Quick's not playing with a Kevlar this time around. He's got a Molly.
Yeah, and I think the difference that we saw in this previous half was B-Pro against Vex. They didn't have the team coordination to break up those stars and stop them from fragging. Trick definitely did. Their nades were perfectly placed in SB. This is definitely a good way to shut down Tricked by getting a Glock running very early on. Console, he is going to push through this smoke, but Vex are watching it. Kreese finds another one, and this pistol round is definitely what they need to get back into the game.
So he's going to get spotted out by Piff, but no kill coming through in the favor of Vexed Academy just yet. Well, the double headshot, that might have turned everything around, but the pace was just too high. Too many people to go up against that sole CT, and Insta all alone, you knew already that it was over. So yes, the pistol lands on their account. That's good, definitely. As you said, Esperanto with a great start to this round. Also, definitely not a bad job done by Kreese out there paying attention to the smoke. Sometimes when you have a smoke like this, you just feel safe. You don't really want to look that way. Maybe you're afraid that somebody's going to spray through it, not necessarily go through. But you had an eye on it, and it's perfectly
I like this from Trick,
executed.
though. I like this economy management. TMNT, and to their credit, a lot of his teammates aren't fully investing into this round. They obviously know that on train you need a decent economy. Obviously, the pistols, yeah, they can be effective in Counter-Strike, but on train, it's neutralized to some extent by the long-distance engagements. The AK-47s and the AWPs, to some extent, are always more powerful at medium to long range than these pistols. So Tricked, yeah, they have invested a couple of PD50s here, the Deagles there, and that's just to keep the pressure up, to make sure that Vex don't lose 0 players in 3 rounds and gain a huge economy rolling into the gun rounds, which is exactly what we saw from Tricked in the previous half. However, here, Vexed, they've got the perfect buy and they're not losing players to these pistols.
Fifth pushing out as the first man, nobody to be spotted out right there, and Tricked are pretty much well tucked and hidden away in bomb side B, and this isn't really going to help them in stopping the bomb plan from happening. Maybe getting a single kill and picking up a rifle just like that. No, they're just giving up in this round. Can clearly understand that. It's a pure eco. It's just a call, go Bay. If they run in, maybe we'll get some kills, but if not, just wouldn't do anything otherwise anyway.
And it's all up to Vex to keep the pressure up. Obviously, so far they have been doing that. Trick just setting up for these exits passively. At that, they will definitely allow Vex to save these rifles, save all of this utility into the 18th round, which I think is the incorrect decision. Allowing Vex to have loads of economy is probably not the way to go about shutting them down. Keeping their economy low and forcing the ecos out is probably better, but obviously Tricked aren't going to have to invest anything into this 3rd round just to have these pistols to do the damage. So they've got one more opportunity now to keep Vexed honest, to keep them off of the $6,000 mark. Because remember, if Vexed take this round with 4 or 5 players alive, they're going to have 2 or 3 buy rounds ahead of them. And it's so difficult to mount a strong CT side without those ecos to break up the pace in your TL position.
Well, 4 people yet again stuck on bomb side B. Nobody going in yet, though. Seems like Vexed Academy will be focused rather on bomb site A throughout this round anyway. They have Esperanto and Kreese preparing the nades on towards that one. Piff covering the IV. And they're going to just run out of pop dog, most likely, to find. Or do you think that they would rather split it up? Because that could be the worst thing they can do.
Well, Trick went for a stack last round. So sniffing out a stack like that for Vexed is definitely important. However, here, they're about to go for some sort of push. It definitely is going to be towards the A site. They've got those 2 players at Ivy, as we were saying last half. There's no difference here, and Trick will know this. Here comes the push, but Inns has to work his Deagle through the smoke and try and do some damage here.
Okay, pushes out and sees the enemies, but acts a little bit late and not too accurate. So 100% HP, and nearly everybody on Vexed Academy only click missing 5, and nope, they're not splitting up, they're not going into the stack, they're going to plant the bomb site A. Once again, a very similar situation to what happened in the previous round, although this time, after the plants, Tricked get a little bit more active. They're trying to push out, they try to actively look for these exit kills maybe. Now they really need this one single rifle or maybe 2. Piff is going to get killed off by a huge headshot from console, but this D needs to secure Kreese too if they are to pick up the weapon, and that's what matters. Refresh getting a good position. Maybe they will even try to approach the bomb right there. Had they had Console just drawn a couple more people, it would have been so much better. But now still, a double kill is definitely counts. And so, will they go off with the bomb's explosion? Esperanto does die off with it.
It's all about exit frags, though, Nero. It's all about trying to do the damage to the Vexed economy. And that was the goal for Tricked. It was a long-term goal as well, saving the pistols from round 18 to round 17 to round 18, and keeping that pressure up to do 3 kills worth of damage. They were never going to get 3 kills by setting up for exits in the previous round, so they kept the pistols back, and they did it in the 18th. And now Vex economy, it's actually pretty low. They've got 3 players under 1,500, and Tricked, they will force an eco if they win this, and that is the goal here. Lucky with 1, 2, Ins coming in with the 3rd as well. Vexed in a lot of trouble here. Unless they can break onto this bomb site, their money's going to be in tatters. There has to be SB doing the damage with the AWP, but Lucky, what a monster. There's the 2nd kill. TMNT coming in with the 3rd as well. Tricked, shut down this push. And you see, it was the long-term goal that we were talking about. Vexed with barely any money. Only Kvik and Define. They're going to have to drop the teammates.
I'm surprised that actually worked out like this, because in theory, sure, it was a good idea and it was supposed to work out like that, but would you really have believed the Trick was so confident that it would work out, that they would save onto the pistol, cling onto the pistols for one more round and get these exit kills, and one other guy would just go off with the bomb? That's just also a little bit unlucky on Vex Academy's side, and Tricked were actually really good on the previous one.
Did you see that vac moment? Kvik just looked at 3 heads through the wall. I know he didn't mean to, but he looked at every single player's head through the wall, just said SB drops. But this Molotov is actually dangerous for Avesh. Kvik, despite looking at everybody through the side of the door, does actually drop without getting a single kill. So Vexed, yeah, they're in a difficult spot.
Vex Academy about to probably go down for a long time now if they lose this one, I would say. Now this is going to be long-term damage more than just a little bit something to chime in, just to get them down to Galils instead of AKs, and really maybe that double AWP once again could be something to save the day, but with such low economy as you mentioned, it's just not possible. Tree's going to run straight into Insta. Not the greatest idea out there, and he doesn't even deliver the damage. One single bullet's connected with that AK.
Yeah, this defense for Tricked on the A site is so strong, and there's the final frag. Trick not taking any damage at all. Refresh was going to jump off the ladder, but he's only on 8 HP, so not taking the risk. Doesn't want to have a fail stream moment. 7-13 though, and Tricked, they've kept the pressure up, even in after losing that pistol. And Tricked, their pistols haven't actually been that good today. It's slightly disappointing that that their pistols haven't actually been on par against Cold, and now they have only lost the 1 against Vex, but remember against Cold game earlier, they lost both of them, so not perfect, but Insta surely going to rack up the frags here. Does back off, doesn't want to concede this AK-47, but he's put the smoke down, and Vex, they're going to walk right into this one. Insta, there's the 1, but Define trades it back. The P250 is a 1-bullet headshot from that range. Refresh as well, taking a bullet in the face. It's Pith and Kreese with pistols doing the damage, and Tricked, they've got to burst their way back into this bomb site.
Take a look at that. It's just so close, Pith. With 50 HP, he's still got an HE, and will he be able to get anybody with that? Not necessarily, as there wasn't even anybody in the connector areas. Console and right, so both from a similar angle. Oh, Pitt's gonna get picked off! That's not good. Kreese all alone. Can he cover 2 different angles at the same time? Can Tricked, though, actually work together well enough to confuse him enough? Because he knows where the AWP is, so he'll be trying to get a little bit closer to this guy. What?
That was just a timing.
Made too easy.
That was just a timing. Kreese looking the wrong way. You can't guard every single angle on bomb site A, notorious for having so many angles. You can't guard them all on your own. 1 versus 2 as well. You've got to take risks somewhere and sometime. And TMNT just getting lucky there, finding him in the back of the head. Easy peasy. And Trick to 7 rounds ahead. Double the scoreline of Vexed.
I thought that Kreese was just getting aggressive out there to break it down into 2 1v1 fights, but instead it kind of looked weird, like he confused himself into not knowing what to do, really.
Yeah, I don't know if he knew where that AWPer was and just guessing the wrong angle. Looking to the right when he comes left, you can't cover everything on your own, especially on a side of train. It's just so many angles to watch. And unless you find yourself with your back to a corner, you're always going to have the risk of somebody able to sneak up on you. Define's only got 6 kills in this whole game, and he's got to put some more on the board if he wants his team to be in with a shot of this one. But 8 out of the next 9 rounds is exactly what the doctor orders for Vexed, and I'm not sure they're going to get it.
Oh, Define and Kreese going for some kind of a boost right there, but also there is a little bit of danger in the main entrance. There we go, a clean double kill.
Oh my
and
lord!
And they just break them through the smoke. Can you believe it? Definer pushes out and tries to reply, but it's way too late. It's going to taste of their own medicine. It's just a single kill in exchange for 5. This is horrible, and it will be 15-7 in favor of Trick. They're going for this victory. And they're taking it with brute force, and once again, Crazy is going to be missing a rifle. Pit is going to be missing a rifle. That's just 3, maybe not even AKs, because Fix got 2.9k. Is he? Yeah, that's going to be UMPs. Oh man, that's not enough. No matter how hard they try, Trick's not going down to this.
What a totally nuts round from Trick. They've been so strong, and they're not letting up when the pressure's off. They're keeping their foot on the accelerator. Vexed Academy, just nothing they can do to work their way back into this game. And Tricked, this is a monstrous scoreline for them. They absolutely dwarfed Cold earlier, and they might beat Vex with an even greater scoreline. TM opens up the fragging, and here comes the push.
Oh, right, so missing an opportunity right there. You know, I mean, he's falling down a little bit too quickly, but Constant's going to take care of all that. And
oh, wow, clean round.
What a quick round. And what a flawless round, as you say, a clean one to just close it all off.
Clean round, clean game, clean everything, right?
And what worries me the most, really, is that Vexed Academy got such a good game right there against B-Pro to make us believe that there is actually somebody that might be able to take Tricked down, and now failing at it so much, this pretty much gives it all over to the Danish team. Tricked Esports are unstoppable. Maybe it's going to be a little bit different in a best-of-3 setup, who knows, but a lot of people getting frustrated that Tricked are not necessarily good on train normally, and that makes me even go further that in a best-of-3 it will be even worse, because it's not going to be train, it's going to be some different maps too alongside with it.
Yeah.
So even if it goes 1, then the other 2 will be pretty easy.
That is one of the factors that people don't actually consider, the difference between best of 1 and best of 3. In a best of 1, you don't have to play your 3 worst maps. Like if you don't play 3 maps to a high standard, you can ban 3 of them out. In a best of 3, the banning format, it doesn't actually work like that. Obviously, it's ban and then the pick, so you only get 1 ban instead of the 3. So that is obviously not going to favor the Vex side even further, because Tricked as a bigger, better lineup, they're going to have a deeper map pool, a lot of opportunity to abuse in that best of 3. So Vexed, if you thought this was tough, if you make it through to that grand final, you're going to be facing a best of 3 later today. Our next game is going to be Cold Game versus B-Pro. That's coming up in just under 5 minutes. So we're going to take a quick 3-minute break, and then after, we're going to break that one down for you. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, everyone. I guess Jamie's about to come back, and we'll be kicking off with Cold Game versus B-Pro as soon as possible, hopefully enough. And what to expect from this matchup? This is big. Okay, Jamie, I can see that you can already hear me again, and I have a question for you. Because in theory, I think that B-Pro should be the favorite walking into this matchup against Cold Game, but then how do you feel after a 116 against Vexed Academy that you probably weren't expected to lose so heavily to? Will you be like swayed by that, or do you just completely recover, go freshly into this matchup, and beat Cold Game like you were supposed to?
Well,
I don't know.
okay. I think we have to set it up like this. Both of these teams got crushed in their best of one. So both of these teams are actually in the same situation. 8 rounds, yeah, it's better than 1, but it was only pistol rounds. Cold Game showed us no proficiency in their rifle rounds at all. They showed us as much proficiency as B-Pro did, in fact. They showed us good pistol play. However, it really wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to take a notable amount of rounds against Tricked and B-Pro. They didn't show us anything in their game. They didn't show us pistol play. They didn't show us rifles. 1 round really isn't good enough to show us what you made.
They won an eco.
If the 1 eco, so it's like 1 round, but it's like you can barely even count that. They did a horrible job against Vexed Academy. Vexed schooled them completely. They allowed 2 players to finish the game with like 6 deaths between them, and it's like that is just not good enough. If you're going to play in a tournament like this, you've got to be ready to frag. And against players like Define, who is a good player but just got his ass kicked by Vexed, no, by Tricked, sorry. Like they're not playing against the best player in the world. They're playing against beatable opponents and still getting absolutely schooled. So you've got to be scared for B-Pro. But also Cold Game, like they didn't do much better in their best of 1, really, did they? So, well, looking at the bets, people are saying Cold. Everyone's saying Cold, but they are Russian. So we have got all the Ruskis in their chat. Give me a what's something Russian people say that isn't a profanity.
Okay, as you say,
give me a Rush B in the chat, everybody. Rush B in the chat.
Oh, actually, I don't know if you were paying attention to the chat last time Cold Game played, but they were something like something along the lines of now the chat is Russian, now the chat is Russian, and they've been pasting it over and over and over again. There's been millions of messages like these, so hopefully it's not going to be like that. Yeah,
I love it when we get the Russians in, spamming the chat and stuff. We got it with Nemassier yesterday, and looks like we're getting it again today with Cold Game. We love the Russians. Well, like what else can you say? These guys love playing CSGO and love watching CSGO as well. And Water Bear says that was pretty cringe, and I do agree with you, mate. I am pretty cringe, especially when I try and pander to the Russians.
Oh, hell. Sometimes you just don't know which is good to say and which is going to be slightly offensive and stuff like that. Because some of the Russian players are proud of the Rush B, but some of the others are kind of unhappy with it.
Man, you got to be proud of your heritage, right? You got to be proud of that Rush B heritage. I want to see Russian people not abandon that and keep it. Drop up Rush B. Every round, all 30, if you get that far.
Alright, so we will hopefully be getting into Cold Game versus B-Pro in just a second, and I'm really curious as to what the map's going to be right there. But do you think that the map will also have such a big effect on what's going to happen in the game? Actually, do you think that... Do you think that the bets that are happening right now on our channel do make a big difference, or is it actually just going to be about B-Pro? Because in my opinion, it in theory should, but after seeing the first match, I just can't not doubt in B-Pro.
I was going to place some bets on this PC, but I saw I'm actually logged in on Nero's account. Not you, but Phil's account. So I better not do that, because I'm pretty sure he's going to be pretty mad if I do that. So he'll keep his betties, but I think all the smart money goes on B-Pro this game. I think that they've got the advantage coming into this. I think that they're a better team despite taking less rounds. They're obviously against a worse opponent as well. So, but CS isn't linear like that. So if Team A beats Team B and Team B beats Team C won't always beat Team A again. You don't have that same triangle. So there isn't that linear progression in CS, and loads of people are placing loads of bets. I love this. Come on, play some bets, lads. And you can use exclamation mark bet B Pro all if you want to bet all on B Pro. So it's like I see this this cool Krill guy wanted to bet 1,000 betties, but he hasn't watched a stream for long enough, man. He hasn't got 1,000 betties. He's not allowed to bet that much.
Unlucky.
Only got 150 betters, mate. Get on my level.
Hi, but if you win the bet on this matchup, you can definitely try to get yourself some tickets on exclamation mark ticket, right? Or because then before the final starts, we've got a show match of one of you up against Jamie, and you can get some amazing skins out there, so it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, we have got a little graphic for the 1v1 Angel that's going to be played after the consolidation final in about an hour and a half's time, an hour and a half, 2 hours time after the Vexed Academy match, which it will be the best of one after this one. It's a caster challenge 1v1. If you want to get involved, type exclamation mark ticket, sorry, and the amount of tickets you want to buy. The first ticket is absolutely free, so don't be scared. You won't spend your betters if you only type in the number 1. Additional tickets are 10 betters each, and everybody loves betting with betties, so go ahead and do that as well. A challenger will be picked right after the group finals, right before the grand final, and if you beat me, you have a chance of winning an awesome skin out of these two. It's a Stat Track M1S Decimator Factory New or Shadow Dagger as far as DD Pat field tested. You can pick whatever you want if you beat me. But don't get too excited because I'm going to win today. I'm feeling fresh. I'm feeling hot. I got cryogenically frozen last night to just recuperate from that horrific loss. And I'm feeling pretty good. I think I've got probably a 98% chance of winning. I'd say against anybody that I get put up against. I'm feeling pretty strong. So there might not be any point of entering because I'm just gonna kick your ass anyway, bro.
Looks solid in my eyes right here. So yeah, I would actually not bet on you still.
Screedy, but I can't even read it. I don't know why I even talked about it. But I made a blunder, and he typed exactly what I accidentally said. That's pretty funny. I actually love Twitch chat sometimes. But yeah, tickets, and you can enter that. That 1v1 Angel very, very shortly. It'll be in about 2 hours' time. So how are the bets doing, Nero?
Right now, 58% to 42% in favor of Bipro. So it's not 100% in favor of Colgate anymore. It's getting into the hands of the Bulgarians a little bit, but I'm still not sure. But as you mentioned, that actually hit me quite hard. They are in a perfect spot, really. Like, they just lost 1-16 Colt game. I think that, hey, maybe it's actually going to be an easy game. Let's do it. But instead, B-Pro is going to wake up completely. Maybe they've undergone some serious conversations, and walking into this match is going to be a completely different team. And hopefully so. As a lot of people are saying with... the latest changes to the lineup, they're not looking so good anymore. So they have to kind of reassure themselves that there's still a legitimate player out there in the Bulgarian scene.
Yeah, and the Bulgarian scene is obviously very hot with names. Obviously, we've got the Imperial side, we've got Outlaw side, which both play in this tournament. Bulgarian Counter-Strike has actually, in the last 4 years, really snuck up on everyone as really, really strong. So people, when you think of really good Counter-Strike nations, you don't think of Bulgaria really up there. But they have surprised with like decent teams over the year. Obviously, the old EFRAG team used to be a top 10 team, like a borderline top 10. They made it to semi-finals of big LAN tournaments, and and now they're playing in this Imperial team, and it definitely they could see a resurgence, but they are not that EFrag team of old. They haven't had that progression that we'd like to see from a team breaking into the top 10 level, and sadly they're probably like 40th in the world right now and don't really get invited to those tier 1 or even tier 2 lands anymore. Shame.
That's a shame for sure, but still they had the moment of glory. They've definitely shown in Bulgaria that it is possible to reach up high, and then a lot of teams have arisen out there, and they've been given their shots, and definitely B-Pro was among these teams. And I remember B-Pro also taking part in some of these bigger tournaments. I'm not saying as big as EFrag back in the days, but definitely some huge ones, and they've been able to make the other teams scared of them. But right now, B-Pro, they're not as they used to be. And to get out of this slump, definitely a win against Cold Game would be a great first step. Then having to face off against Vexed Academy again, though, would be a little bit of a tougher situation. We've got to really say that right away.
Yeah, that's the one unfortunate thing for both of these teams is just like yesterday, every single match from here on out will be progressively harder. So if you think that this match is really difficult for B-Pro now, next they'll be facing against Vexed Academy that 16-1 them earlier, and then they'll play against the even better Tricked side, so in a best of 3 as well. So you have to say that B-Pro or Cold Game, like both of their chances of actually making it out of this group to the top 4 is pretty much nigh on impossible.
Okay, you can see the teams starting to pop up on the server, and it seems like once again we'll see Mirage. And awesome. So what do we say about that? Does it favor B-Pro at all? I mean, after all, they just played this map, so they're kind of warmed up. They will know how it works and getting strong.
So in terms of this map, as in the context of this series, I don't think that it being Mirage and them being 16-1 on Mirage just an hour ago really matters. They didn't get outplayed in terms of tactics. They just got out-aimed against a better Vexed side. So here against Cold Game, they're very likely not going to be able to do that to the Bulgarians, and they're probably not going to have that same effect. The one positive of being 16-1 is we saw almost nothing of them. We saw no T-side strats. They didn't throw anything out there. We saw a pistol round, and that's it for their T-side. So they're keeping their cards very close to their chest. So we've barely even seen them on the T side. Means that Cold Game haven't had the ability to scout them out.
Yeah, that might be a point, definitely, and I can see where you're going with this one, but still, as you're saying, the Angels were not favorable at all for them, but what I would also like to say is that they weren't necessarily covering each other well enough. As you said, I remember that one situation where the Define was coming out of the ramps and you were saying that he was pincered right there. It was actually the other way around. The other two CTs felt the pressure because they were up against one single player, really, because they didn't know how to cooperate with each other well enough. And yeah, that's an issue that you don't just fix over 1 hour. But as you said, they might just have their cards still up their sleeves, and maybe they will surprise completely, especially if they would have the leisure of winning the knife round and then choosing the starting side. If they started on T side, built up a big advantage, that could be something.
Maybe it's all a ruse. Maybe they're actually fantastic on Mirage, but 16-1 earlier is just part of their plan. They're gonna beat Cold Game in a close overtime game here. They're gonna get Mirage again against Vex, and they're going to beat them as well. Maybe this is just maybe this is the spoiler. Maybe this is just a perfect tactic from B-Pro to get beaten earlier, throw that game, so they can win later, so they can get Mirage when it really matters. Yeah, that's what I think.
This time, them winning 16-1 against Vex Academy. Really?
Yeah, it's not.
But yeah, actually, I don't think that this Mirage right here is a horrible choice. That for sure. That's what we can say for granted. And yeah, the second part about Mirage being the map to pick when they go up against Vexed Academy again, yeah, that definitely we have to scratch it. But there we go. Though I'm still afraid the Tiger Master, when he picks up that AWP, he might be the aim star from Overpass again, and you know, it's got to be a tough call. Yeah.
The Tiger Master. There are no other Tiger Masters in the whole world. It's the Tiger Master, the one and only. So, oh, okay. So they're having a little bit of a chat before we start this game, and we'll be getting into it very, very shortly. But in terms of a prediction, we haven't given score lines all too much this broadcast. But I would say that's normally pretty standard. So what would you say in terms of a score line here, Nero?
I still don't know yet which side I should call to victory, but I would say you were talking about like maybe some close overtimes. Now I don't see an overtime happening. I would say like something along the lines of 16-11. Definitely cold game will cross the 10 rounds. At least that's what I see happening right here. But something around 16-11 in favor of B Pro. Let's go with that.
And that would be the first time one of these games have got to over 10 rounds all day. The losing team has always been down and out, not really been able to do anything, and that's actually unfortunate that we haven't seen any close series yet. And maybe as the day progresses, we'll see more and more of these close games. Normally, towards the business end of the day, you see people struggling to close matches out a little bit more, but I am struggling with the wire. But maybe since I feel like the disparity between these tier of teams is a lot greater than we saw yesterday, for instance. I feel like Tricked is way better than the second best team, and Vexed is way better than the third best team, and the third best team might this game prove to be way better than the fourth best team. And then when you've got a group set up like that, with such polarity, it often lends itself to quick, snappy matches.
Yeah, might be the thing, although I don't think so, actually.
You don't?
Yes,
okay.
Indeed. Tricked overpower Vexed Academy overpower possibly, probably, both Cold Game and B Pro, but in this matchup it should be a little bit closer. After all, B Pro are not the same B Pro we would expect to actually face off well against the best teams in this group after the changes that they made. And Cold Game, well, they're not a bad team at all themselves. They're not such complete no-namers, so you could see some good situations, some good plays from their hands already up against Tricked, who is a very strong contender for the victory in this entire group. We had Hiji doing well. We had Tiger with these clutch situations and awesome clutch kills every single time he was needed to frag. He would frag in an overwhelming situation, really. Outbreak and ETL, also ETL sometimes surprised in the connector areas out there on Overpass. So I can see quite a full lineup right there on Cold Game. I don't think that anybody like completely disappointed, because we didn't have like a highlight that, yeah, this guy is a horrible, he's the reason why they're losing or something along these lines. It was just a team effort wasn't enough to beat Tricked, and it's nothing surprising because Tricked is just such a good team, right?
So it was a team, not a lot of effort, basically. It was just the team being individually outplayed by a much better side, and that's what we commonly see when you're being just outclassed. I feel like that's something that we have to talk about when we're analysing Tricked's game. Them as a team, they're just so fundamentally sound at trading, at breaking into the bomb sites. In the 2v1s, they're barely losing any of them because they have a crossfire. They have one person baiting and then the other person ready to go for the aggressive peak. They can trade off each other. They guarantee the round. It might not be clean, might be slightly messy, but they've won 2 matches, only dropping 15 rounds in total. That isn't that isn't a completely clean scoreline, but that's as good as you can really hope for. They've made their way to the best of 3, secured the grand final. They don't have to play any matches in the next 2 hours, and we'll see them there against either Cold, B-Pro, or the likely contender, Vexed Academy.
And as you say, it's not as clean as it can get, definitely, because even with a lost matchup, Vexed Academy have 17 rounds lost, which is just 2 more, really. So, yeah, that's something big that they have out there, the 16-1 victory. But after all, yeah, they lost against Tricked. Train wasn't their strongest side, and yeah, the unlucky thing that we mentioned already is that Train might not even be a very good map for Tricked either. So that really puts the pressure on whoever's going to go up against them, as you say. But we've still got to stick with this Cold game versus B-Pro matchup. And is the result really going to change anything? That being the question also. As
Sure.
B-Pro, they already got crushed by Vexed Academy. If Cold game go up against Vex, are they going to match up any kind of better? And
Perhaps.
even if they do, is there a possibility to win a match?
People ask such great questions in the chat, like, is this the English stream? What a question to ask. what a question. Yeah, but Becca knows. He said no, they're talking in Chinese. That is a great satirical comment right there. But yeah, we are going to get into this game in the next couple of minutes. But it gives us a final few moments to discuss this matchup. On Mirage, do you think that there's anything that really separates these two teams that we've seen? Obviously, B-Pro played Mirage earlier, didn't do anything on their CT side. Against Cold Game, do you see that being different?
Yes, definitely. I think that it's going to be a little bit different. Although, what I have to mention too, it's not like they were the ones getting like completely overwhelmed. I feel like it was the matter of like team play for B-Pro, because Vexed Academy were actually playing together a little bit, so they had 2 people in one position to just take somebody down if any danger has arisen. But for B-Pro, it was not the case really. Whenever somebody got a headshot through, there was like 5 HP remaining on one guy. There was nobody in the vicinity to finish that guy off. So every single person on B-Pro had to do things from the very beginning till the very ending all by themselves. And while against FX Academy it's impossible, because they're a team that caliber with players rather of such caliber rather than a team. But Cold Game, I don't think that they're going to be so well meshed together, so well mixed together, and that would be so much easier for B-Pro to win these 1v1 situations. And that way, the entire defense could look completely different. Without them being overwhelmed. The chat?
Yeah, the chat is just so crazy. I love watching Twitch chat. It's like, you know, Twitch chat is like going to a zoo. You look at all the different animals and what noises they make, and you see, you go over to the monkeys or whatever, and they're like, when does stream start? When does stream start? At the zoo. But yeah, Twitch chat's pretty mad. What were you saying, by the way?
No, nothing. No. Yeah, I mean, just that CT side's going to be much easier if you don't have people coming in from Palace, Rams, and middle when you're protecting bomb sites, because you will be able to win these aim fights. Then you will be able to just group up and focus on one like entry point for the enemy team. Yeah, because usually you just don't see so many splits, right? Sure. If it came down to Vexed Academy, they would be all over the map. And then they would be like, all right, let's go here, let's go here, let's just randomly picking wherever they want to go, because there was no pressure from the other side at all. And I feel like from Cold Game, some decisions will be forced on them. It's not going to be like they can randomly spread all over the map. They will have to like stick together, execute some entries with some grenades and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna look at the Twitch chat anymore. I'm one supporter. I got one supporter in the Twitch chat, but nobody else likes exclamation mark bet versus pro. I wonder where this guy's from. Yeah, people don't. Yeah, people didn't appreciate me talking about the Twitch chat. So close the Twitch chat, I guess. It's gone. It's gone. They're gone, Nero. We don't have to worry anymore. But I like the sentiment of what you just said about splitting onto Aeon Mirage. It's something that Vexed Academy did loads earlier, and I feel like their nade usage was really effective. When you smoke the top of a connector, it allows you to have so much space through mid. It disables the AWPer, who might be playing on A site, might be boosted on ticket booth. They can't see over that smoke if it's well placed. And the Vex side seemed to get so much map control really early on, and it allowed them to go for an execute. And BPro didn't have any say about that. On their CT side this time, they've got to do something completely different. They will have to actually take control of certain portions of the map, whether that be connector with 2 players or taking mid control. BPro never seemed to change it up on their CT side against Vexed earlier. I would like to see them maybe have an AWPer towards mid, actually hitting a shot every now and again. However, that didn't happen. On Mirage this time, on their CT side especially, I would like to see them take mid control. Take like maybe not roll with the double AWP setup that they were trying to force earlier. Instead, just have the 1 AWP, 4 rifles, play 2 aggressively A, one player onto mid with somebody maybe even pushing up to mid, and then one person pins it over towards B. BPro need to change up their CT setup if they're going to get anything rolling.
Yeah, that's definitely a fact. And right now, you can see actually on our little server right here, Hiji and Corsair shooting it down in a 1v1, and that reminds me that the 1v1 is coming real shortly, although we already mentioned that it's about like 2 hours from now, right?
Yeah, sure. So if you want to enter that 1v1, if you're not happy about me comparing Twitch chat to a zoo, you want to get your revenge, you can enter the 1v1 in about 2 hours time. You can type exclamation mark ticket and then the amount of tickets you want to buy right now, and the winner, if you beat me, you get to choose from the StatTrak M301S Decimator Factory New or the Shadow Daggers Forest DD Pack. They're field tested. Subscribers also have a higher chance of winning, so go subscribe, go do all that fun stuff. And the first ticket's absolutely free, and go register on ChallengeME.gg while you're doing that. They support us, they do everything, they do all of the good stuff. However, we are going to go to a very short break while some of the server issues are being resolved. So we'll see you in 10 minutes for this 4th game of the day, Cold Game versus BPro. Don't go anywhere.